Good afternoon, Rotarians, guests, and friends. We are very excited about our meeting today, and we're so glad that you are here. We also welcome those of you who are viewing our Rotary Club meeting today via Zoom. We will begin with the National Anthem, led by John Farmeyer, and it would be followed by the invocation and the four-way test, which will be led by Director Molly Rydell. John?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see such a nice big crowd here today. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, your wisdom, and your support. Help us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, God, as we make decisions that affect children and others less fortunate than ourselves in our community and around the world. We seek your blessings on the tasks before us. Please bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, and our work with clarity and accuracy. Thank you for the meal that we are about to enjoy and for our corporate roundtable speakers today who have taken time out of their busy schedules to be with us today. We ask these things in your name, Almighty Father. Amen.
Amen.
And now let us recite the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated. Next, we will hear from our Sergeant at Arms today, who is Rob Hageman, followed by our meeting sponsor today, the Yunker Group, and representing the Yunker Group will be Kay Atkins. Rob?
Good afternoon, everyone. I have the privilege of welcoming some wonderful guests who are joining us today. If you would, please stand up and be recognized. We will start with Angela Wolf, who is with the WTW Company and a guest of Rotarian Doug Bolton. Next, we have Michael Bales with U.S. Bank, who is a guest of Rotarian Ali Hussein. Then we have Lydia Steck with Cincy Magazine, who is a guest of Melinda Kelly. Then Cindy Reeser with Cincinnati Metro, who is a guest of Jeff Weir. And we have some visiting Rotarians with us today. We won't say why Sean Yu's here. We'll save that for him celebrating that with us. But visiting from Dayton Rotary, Sean Yu. And then we have visiting from our Northeast Club. We have Maxine Richardson. And on our bowling team, championship bowling team, Alex Rogers. Yeah.
And before Kay comes up, we have another visitor with us today. We have our district governor, past district governor Mike Kelly from the Mason Deerfield Club.
She's lucky she squeezed you in, isn't she? Thank you, President Melinda. This month, the Younger Group celebrates its 27th anniversary of helping others make a difference. On behalf of my Younger Group colleagues and fellow Rotarians, Janet Burns, Michael Villardo, Dawn Yunker, and Jim Yunker, we are delighted to sponsor today's luncheon. Since April 1995, working exclusively with nonprofit organizations, our firm has developed a niche, guiding search committees in finding the brightest and most talented executive talent, including our own Sarah Pattison, and before her, Linda Muth. Additionally, the Younger Group helps organizations in planning and successfully implementing fundraising efforts for annual and capital support. The Younger Group is a member of the Better Business Bureau and the Giving Institute, and most importantly, 5 of us are proud members of Club 17. We invite you to visit theyoungergroup.com to learn more. Please enjoy today's program, Navigating the New Normal, something the Younger Group is helping its clients do every single day. Thank you.
Next, we have a special Rotary member moment. This is something new that we're starting, and the inaugural member moment will be done by Matt Nephew. He will tell you a little bit more about himself, and he will introduce to you a new objective and committee that he will be working on and spearheading with other Rotarians. Following Matt Nephew will be the RYLA, the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards program. That's the chairperson of that committee is Eric Petway, who's done a wonderful job. The director of that program is President-elect Steve King. And we also have 2 of the RYLA participants with us today. So you will be hearing from them and Eric Petway after we hear from Matt Nephew. Matt?
Yeah, thank you so much, President Melinda. For those that don't know me, my name is Matt Nephew, and I am a commercial sales representative for Liberty Mutual. Thank you. The way I was brought into the club was through my grandfather, who was the the zoo director for 40 years before Thane in Cincinnati, and so that's kind of how I got introduced. But when I first joined several weeks ago, I was amazed at how friendly and welcoming all of you were. That being said, I do know that the board of directors does call out and leave voicemails, check in and see how everybody's doing, and what they could potentially look forward to seeing in the future. With that being said, I do know that one of the things that a lot of the members wanted was to actually meet some of the new members. And so with COVID, right, it's been a little bit of delay, especially those 2019 members who joined and then we all went home. And so I think it's a really good time for new members and existing members to potentially meet up. I know that a lot of the existing members are looking to pay it forward. So this will be a new committee that I'll be helping out with to help bridge the gap between those new members. Important date on Tuesday, May 10th at the Scripps Tower, 10th floor. Thank you, Doug, for booking that. We're actually going to have that officially. And so mentors will be just as you will, if you decide that you would like to be a part of that, would be greatly appreciated. I use that term quite loosely because it won't really be a mentorship, and then mentees will just be new members. And the goal would be to bridge the gap, talk about professional experiences, give advice on what newer members wanted to get out of the Rotary Club, and just some wholesome conversation. So again, May 10th, would love to see you there. And if you have any questions or you are interested in potentially looking to be a part of the committee or help out with the event, would be greatly appreciated. For more information and stuff, I'll be staying after, and you can feel free to contact me. But May 10th is the date. Would love to see a few of you there. 4 to 6. You'll hear more about it. We also have the E-rays, excuse me, I'm so new. It'll be on the E-rays, maybe in the bulletin and some other stuff, but looking forward to seeing a few of your faces, and thank you for your time.
All right, it's RILA time. Everybody excited? It's been 2 years since we've had some awardees come and talk to you about RILA. So, little update, and we have a slide up for you. This was also shown at the when we talked about the club, but I am the chair, and I have great members helping me. Bob and Mary, I think they're everywhere. Every Rotary event I go to, they're there. They're on Zoom right now. So hey, Mary and Bob. And what is RILA is a reminder for a lot of new members you may not know, but it's a 48-hour leadership training for local high school leaders. We focus on students who are sophomores and juniors, and this past RILA was in March. So with our committee, we put together a great effort. During the fiscal year, we actually brought in 5 RILA attendees, one last year that you'll hear from today, and then we actually had 4 in the spring, one of which you will hear from today. Contacted 11 high schools and local organizations. We had 12 student applicants, and we had 4 finalists for the spring and 1 for the fall of last year. Just a reminder, in years past, we've only done 2, so we're going to try to keep it that high level because the opportunities for leadership are abounding, and we need to put more new youth leaders out there in the world. And you'll hear, I have something to reveal at the end about some great news about what happened out of RILA, but I want just keep that in the back of your mind. But I also want to thank Steve King. He's been instrumental on Director of Youth Services. Without his help, none of our great youth efforts could be successful, whether it be RILA or Rotary Youth Exchange, four-way speech test, or Interact or Rotaract. So I also want to recognize guests here, Tom and Noah Lang, who taking great time out of the day, not to support their son, but also to learn more about Rotary. So thank you for attending. So the format today, I'm going to introduce Liam King, who's a sophomore at St. X. He went in the fall. He just wants to give you some color on the great experience he had last fall and kind of the takeaways. And we also have Charlie Lang, who's a senior at Taylor High School and is going to be going on to college. And he's already told me he wants to take Rotary to the next step. So that's exciting. And then I have 3 kind of summary notes from 3 of the RILA attendees who cannot be here today, but exciting news there as well. And then we'll have kind of wrap up. So if you can give a Rotary welcome to Liam King and Charlie Lang, I'd appreciate it. Let's go ahead and give them a round of applause.
So first off, I'd just like to say thank you to Mr. Petway and the RILA committee for sending me to RILA and giving me this great opportunity and this really memorable and life-changing experience. So thank you, Mr. Petway. Thank you, Rotary Club of Cincinnati. And thank you, RILA committee. And I was asked to talk about a memory that I have from RILA. And one of those memories that just comes back after I reflect on my time at RILA was we were doing a scavenger hunt, and for one of the activities we had to climb to the top of the climbing tower, and I was pretty nervous. I stupidly raised my hand to volunteer for that activity. But that was not the best decision looking back. But you get caught up in the heat of the moment. Anyways, so I start climbing, and it's terrifying. But at the end, I ring the bell, I get down, and all my teammates, they come down, they congratulate me on climbing the tower. We completed the challenge, and it was just one of those things where I remember, and I look back, and I think, that was a wonderful experience. It truly showed me the love and support of Rotary Club and the kind of people that Rotary attracts. So, I just want to say thank you again. for sending me to RILA. And probably the biggest takeaway that I had from it was it gave me the confidence to become a better leader in my communities, my work, my athletics, all that kind of things that I've been involved in. It really gave me the confidence to go forward and to be a better leader, not just the kind of leader that would do it kind of half-heartedly. It was a great safety net for me to practice new techniques on that I had learned at RILA, and then I could then take those techniques and use them, like I said, in my school and my work and my athletics. So thank you so much, Rotary Club of Cincinnati, and thank you so much, Mr. Petway and RILA Committee.
I mean, how am I supposed to follow that up? He said everything. But I actually learned a lot of things from the RILA weekend. For one, I learned that leadership isn't a trait that you're born with. It's a skill you develop over time. A great example of this was, like you said, the scavenger hunt. There were a lot of activities where we would have to figure out the best way to do it. And through that, we were able to utilize our different skills and encourage each other in order to accomplish difficult tasks. I also learned that a leader is someone who inspires others through their own behavior. It means everyone has something to offer, and you should care enough and be open enough to share it with others. You make yourself vulnerable, and you just put yourself out there. Going forward, like Mr. Petway said, I plan to join a Rotaract. I can speak English. I plan to join a Rotaract club in college so that I am able to practice and further refine the skills I have learned over the RILA weekend. I am hoping that this will allow me to grow as both a leader and a person. Finally, I would like to say thank you. Thank all of you in this room for your help and support. Without you, I would not have had the opportunity to learn these lessons. Thank you.
So as a quick wrap up, round of applause for Liam and Charlie. In the interest of time, I'm not going to read the comments for the three other students, but I do want to give their names and their locations. Piper Eskrigg, who was at Indian Hill, Eminetta Baugh at Cincinnati Country Day, and then Logan Bunker at St. X High School. So the reveal here today is that this Friday, Logan and Liam will be meeting with our Interact group, Rotary, at St. X to talk about starting an Interact club at St. X. And it would not have come out without this, with their hard work. And actually, Logan was took the banner from the RILA and sent me an email saying, "What can I do next? I want to start the club at my school." So all credit going back to the students. There are young leaders for the future. If you want to become part of RILA, if you want to help myself, Mary, and Bob, please let me know. We will start the process over the summer, and stop by, email me, text me, whatever you need. And again, RILA is a great benefit that we do for our community. And let's have one more round of applause for Liam and Charlie.
Thank you so much. We're so proud of our RILA participants and the committees and all to, I don't know, Sean. All right. Thank you so much. And also thank you with Matt New. Matt is a recent graduate of college as well, so you don't have to be with Rotary for years before you start new activities and committees. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Sean Yu. Sean is the president of the Rotary Club of Dayton, and he has a special presentation for us today, along with our bowlers. Well, all bowlers, please stand. Do we have any other bowlers? Any bowlers? All bowlers, please stand. Let's give our bowlers a round of applause. Woo-hoo! Great job.
Yes, I drew the short straw. And I don't know if you realize this, Melinda, you just gave a radio guy a hot mic. You might want to put your feet up, okay? In addition to being the president of the Rotary Club of Dayton, I'm also the president of Dayton Public Radio. It's my honor to be here amongst my fellow Rotarians, no matter where it is. But I'm ashamed to say that as many years as I've been here, this is my first time visiting Cincinnati Rotary, and I promise you it will not be my last. Last month, we got together, the two Rotary clubs, had a bowl-off, which we hadn't done in several years, and it was so meaningful to do it this year more than in years past. It reminded us it's about a whole lot more than just bowling. These guys won't tell you that, but it was about so much more than bowling. It reminded us of what binds us together as Rotarians, and that is that three-word motto: service above self. Melinda and I have begun all kinds of fun discussions about ideas about how to get our two clubs better engaged. We invite you to come and visit us. I promise you I'm going to bring a contingent of Dayton Rotarians to come down and see how you guys do it here in Cincinnati. And again, it's just my absolute pleasure to be amongst all of you. Paul Brown said, "When you win, say nothing. When you lose, say even less." But I do want to point out one more thing, though. I didn't realize that there were that many ways to get your butt kicked in bowling. Because, unless I'm mistaken, this now brings the record to 5-5. We've lost 5 times in Cincinnati and 5 times in Dayton. So, but it is my pleasure to give this trophy. And this does mean a lot because, in addition to Norris Kindell, this is the Norris Kindell Dick Hauser Trophy. Dick was a beloved member of our club in Dayton. We lovingly always refer to him as Coach, and his name is on this trophy. We want it back next year, okay? So, congratulations, Cincinnati. Well done, well done.
I just wanted to say this is the 55th time that we've had the tournament. We lost the date in 2020 to COVID the day before, and didn't bowl last year. So it was really good to get together, and I'd like to thank Sean for hosting us, and for Jack Lobeck and Dave Lucky for organizing things. And you know, they were very gracious hosts, including letting us bring the trophy home. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, those were exciting times when we were over in Dayton. I observed the bowling, and then we had dinner with the Rotary Club of Dayton, and it was a great time. So we look forward to next year. Next, I will go over our announcements very briefly so that we can get to our program today. We have several birthdays. Yesterday, Steve Kimball celebrated a birthday. Today, the 21st, Gary Mitchell. His birthday is today. The 23rd is Doug Adams. The 25th, we have Wayne Jerkowski. And we also have a member celebrating 30 years as a Rotarian, Judy James. Let's give all of them a round of applause. Next, we will have Split the Pot. And I'll ask Jane if she will draw the winning ticket. 25% goes to the winner, 25% goes to the accumulating pot, and 50% of the amount goes to the club for the club member development efforts. So we'll see if we can give away the accumulating pot today. Guests are eligible for the first ticket draw, and then Club 17 members are eligible for the accumulating pot. And the accumulating pot today is $1,524. So again, all guests is eligible for the first ticket draw, which will be 25%, $46 today. And then the accumulating pot would be able to be drawn by a Club 17 member. And so Jane is going to pick the number, and you can announce the last 4 digits.
Sure. Let's dig in here. And so the last Last four numbers, 3509. 3509. Woo! All right.
All right. Thank you, Jane. Oh, that's Ken Sanders. He's pulling for the Queen of Hearts. Oh, Six of Hearts. Oh, well. Well, we'll get ready for next week then. It'll be more than 1,524. Wanted to see if I could catch you on that one. No. No, my error. It would be $1,524 more than that. Something added to that for next week. So we look forward to have you participating next week. Rotary Euchre. The Rotary Euchre group meets the fourth Tuesday of every month. This month, the meeting will be April 26th, starting at 6:30 p.m., hosted at the home of Gary Mitchell. All levels of experience are invited to participate. The cost is $5 per table, and all monies will be distributed to first, second, and third place winners. If you are interested, you can RSVP to Jeff Weir. Jeff, raise your hand. If you don't know Jeff, there's Jeff right there if you're interested in participating. Special thanks, although he's not here today, Bob McElroy did a great job through the World Affairs Committee with the efforts for the refugees, Ukraine refugees. He pulled together, he and a committee of others, to take all the materials and funds that we collected to Matthew 25 Ministries. So let's give Bob a round of applause for that. Congratulations to Tom Noonan and his wife Patsy on their 55th wedding anniversary as well. So 55 years, Tom Noonan. We have one meeting this afternoon following our meeting. At 1:30, we have the young professionals. They will be meeting in the boardroom 3 on the mezzanine level. Next week, we have Dr. Cyan Cotton, Director of the Center for Integrative Health and Wellness at UC's College of Medicine, will be our speaker for next week. So I went through those announcements very quickly. Please read your E-rays and the club highlights that are sent out through the office, and you will have a little bit more detailed information. We're very excited about today's program, and we will begin that now with the program introduction by Cheryl Parker, Corporate Roundtable Committee member and representative corporate member of AAA. Let's give Cheryl a round of applause.
Thank you, President Melinda, and good afternoon, Club 17 members and guests. We are indeed very excited about today's program. I am Cheryl Parker with AAA. We are a proud corporate member organization. The Corporate Member Roundtable has been very active over the last couple of years, and this is our third panel discussion. The first one was on leading through COVID. We did another on HR challenges, hiring and retention, and now today's travel and tourism panel, so we're very excited. For those of you who are not familiar with the Corporate Member Roundtable, the purpose is to provide an exchange of ideas that our corporate member organizations can use as they lead their businesses and companies, with the primary focus on service and support. We identify ways that others within those corporate member organizations can become involved in effective and fulfilling community service while gaining knowledge and developing skills. We're trying to enhance the overall corporate member Rotary experience and grow the Rotary's corporate membership. And we are growing. We have a growing number of corporate members, 21. And there are some others that are in the pipeline from what I understand. Yes, that is definitely worthy of applause. You can see all of the corporate members that are represented there, but we appreciate your support and letting us know about other companies that might want to become a corporate member of the Rotary Club. So again, we're excited about today's program, and we're looking forward to someone winning those 2 round-trip airline tickets, compliments of AAA, and we're very happy to make that donation today. And now, without further ado, your panel moderator, Doug Bolton, our club treasurer, president-elect, and president and CEO of Cincinnati Cares, to moderate this wonderful panel discussion today. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's do a quick exercise here. Everyone stand up. Everyone stand up. If you have not done business travel of at least one night or more this year, sit down. If you have not done business travel of at least one night away from home this year, sit down. Okay, fabulous. So let's give these ambitious, adventurous people who are doing business travel right now a big round of applause. So the statistics are that business travel is going to be really challenged this year, down 20% compared to pre-pandemic levels. Leisure travel, on the other hand, is predicted to return. So we have a panel of experts who are going to be talking about that issue, those issues, with us. Jane Jones with Provident Travel grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, big round of applause for her. She has spent her almost entire career with Provident Travel. She started in the airline business in Oklahoma, graduated at University of Oklahoma, and came here in 1984, has been managing now Provident Travel, now manages 50 plus travel agents, 3 offices here in Cincinnati and Virginia. In the middle, no stranger to our crowd, Bob Lewis has been with us before, grew up in Southeast Asia, is the marketing and sales director here at the Hilton. Let's give him a big round of applause for hosting us every single week. And then finally, last but not least, Julie Kirkpatrick is a professional at Meet Northern Kentucky. And while she is CEO of that organization, she is able to talk about the tourism industry in greater Cincinnati in general, because she's been involved in that organization since 1994, and was named the CEO just in December of 2020. So we'll ask her a couple questions about what it's like to become the CEO of an organization in the middle of a pandemic. And so we'll also need to get to your questions as well. So we've got some designated questions for each of these folks. So let's start out with just a really high-level conversation about where we are today in each of your views in terms of recovery from the pandemic versus where we were, obviously, in good times, February of 2020. And let's start with you, Julie, in terms of people coming to Cincinnati for tourism.
It's a great way to start. So to answer that, I have to start and tell you how bad it was. It was worse than 9/11, worse than the financial crisis. For the first time in our industry, we had hotels putting locks on the hotels and closing them up. There were quite a few hotels that shut down during the height of COVID. Occupancies in this region went from 70% to 15, 16%. That's unsustainable. And we were so happy in 2021. Vaccinations are here. That travel intent had never been higher. And we started to have a pretty good year. It started to look really, really good until we got to about August. And here comes the Delta variant. Everybody claws back again. Here comes Omicron. So our goal in the industry is to get back and beyond to where we were in 2019. 2019 was a record-breaking year, the most visitors we've ever had in this region. We track close to 5 million a year. Last year, we probably got back about 50% of those. So all of that is they're still, still not back to where we should be. From a leisure standpoint, we're absolutely back. We've recovered every visitor that has been intrigued by our brand of where North meets South, where beer meets bourbon. Our sports teams were phenomenal last year. Can I get a who day in this room? Right. So that has come back really, really strong. All of the hotels are showing strong weekend occupancy. Our remaining softness is in the midweek, and you saw that. Not all of you stood up in this room who may have typically been traveling for business. So when we say where we are right now, we're about 80% back. You see that at the airport. They have 80% of their passenger volume back. The airlines are coming back, but we're not there yet. We need that business travel to get back out on the road. We need all of our phenomenal events in this region to happen and happen robustly. Taste of Cincinnati, Cincinnati Music Festival, Oktoberfest, all of the great concerts. I quit trying to track how many daggone times Garth Brooks canceled and rescheduled and canceled. He's coming in May, and it's going to be a big event. So we are back, but we are not fully back yet.
Awesome. Bob, your perspective.
Yeah, I think, thank you, Julie. You hit it right on the money. I mean, it was really, really a low point for us. I mean, if you think about our hotel, we have almost 600 rooms here. During COVID, at times, we had 5 to 10 guests in the hotel. I mean, so it was devastating. And so thanks to Rotary for your support during that hard time as well, too. You are, I think, our first returning venue that was here on a regular basis through that. So deep appreciation there. So thank you. But it's been difficult, and we're still making our way back. We had all those little road bumps, as Julie mentioned, with the variants. We're very hopeful that things will start moving forward. You kind of get a new perspective on things as you keep moving the benchmark. As we were saying, first quarter is going to be great, we're through this, and then, okay, maybe it's going to be second quarter, and then, okay, third quarter, and I'll scrap that year. Let's go to the next year. And so, but we are hopeful that we'll start seeing some people return to the office. As Julie mentioned again, too, weekends have been terrific, and they'll continue to be that for the rest of the year. We've got a lot of things to celebrate, but that 5 days out of the 7 just are not making it. So we've got some work to do there.
All right, Jane, in your perspective.
Yes, thank you, Doug. Listening to all the history of the tourism and what we went through right in the beginning of the pandemic, all that while our travel advisors were working harder than they ever worked before to either get travelers home when the borders shut down, and then to rebook and rebook and rebook. So they've been working tirelessly throughout the pandemic. I'll fast forward to share with you that the good news, it's exciting news that we are actually exceeding 2019 bookings for leisure travel. Yeah. Yeah. So very exciting. We are recovering. Yeah.
So Jane, take us a little deeper into, that is great news that folks are beginning to think about that in a greater way, but talk to us about the special considerations that someone is going to be facing or will face as they do, start with international travel and then come back to domestic travel that you're seeing.
Right, so I think what you're trying to say is what is the new normal? The landscape of travel has changed, most likely for the long haul. And of course, it would not be appropriate for me not to say that the first thing that you need to do is work with a travel professional, a travel advisor. There are so many changes that are occurring as we speak. We are, again, as far as the new normal, we are very close to where we were normal in 2019. A month ago, we're even closer a week ago but that's the new normal. It's going to change, and it's going to continue to change. So the protocols, the restrictions, I think will be here for the long haul. So to work with someone that is working on your behalf in the planning stages while you're traveling and beyond is really a challenge. As the advice that we give to our consumer buying travel, it's going to be more challenging to do on your own. So to work with a travel advisor to navigate those new landscape of travel, I think is priceless.
Very good. And Bob, what about what's the experience like for someone going into a hotel that's different today than it was, obviously two years ago?
Sure. I think there's a number of different items. First, I hope that you'll feel an appreciation for you being at the property. I mean, the people that are working at the hotels are so thankful that you're there today. And in fact, they probably would offer you a job to work with them. So that's one of the things that we're facing right now is staffing levels. We've been hiring for a number of months now and continue to hire, and it's just very difficult to find that labor and help. But there's some things that are definitely changed, and we're not sure if they're going to come back. Room service is a good example. We haven't brought our room service back, and I think it's probably rare that you find hotels that have brought that back already. It may never come back. What you will find is takeout available from the restaurants at the hotel, and also probably every hotel has got a sundry shop that has to-go items. So you can get salads, sandwiches, breakfast items, beverages, everything in ours here, and I think that's pretty commonplace now that you're finding. So you can grab something at the front after you check in. You can grab your lunch or something and take it up to the room. More options for housekeeping is available as well too. There's people that do want privacy. They don't want someone coming in. They're not that comfortable yet with a stranger coming into the room and touching things. And so we have opt-in service. So every third day we'll provide service. If you want daily service, we'll do that as well too. But we are finding a higher demand for I'm here for a day or 2 days. I don't need service at all. So that's kind of commonplace now as well too.
Excellent. Julie, what's the single most reason why that leisure traveler is coming to greater Cincinnati today?
I think it's our unique culture in this region. And this is something that we spent a lot of time during COVID, because I'll be honest, the only thing we were rich in during COVID was time in the tourism industry. So we worked very closely with our partners at Visit Cincy, which is the Cincinnati Convention and Visitors Bureau, and they have a president whose name also happens to be Julie. She's Julie Calvert, so I'm Julie Kirkpatrick. I'm on the northern Kentucky side of the river, so we're affectionately known as the Julies. So we travel in a pack, and here come the Julies. So we spent time during COVID in defining what is something that we could own in this region. There's no other region in this country that has the matchup of north and south like we do. We are the literal conjoining of north and south. Also, with what we have on the northern Kentucky side with bourbon, what Cincinnati has with beer history, that is also something unique and ownable for us, that conjunction and that tension. You put a phenomenal arts community with an outrageously incredible sports community, and you've got culture there that we can go out and talk about. So that's what we've done during COVID, is put together something that we call the Cincy region, which is the identifier for this entire region, and put our teams together to go out and agnostically sell this region. We will sell our brand, which is the Southern brand. Our Cincinnati partners sell this amazing downtown community, and it is paying off. People are looking at Cincinnati in a different way. The 99 billion impressions that were generated of Cincinnati during the Super Bowl are paying off in a big way in new visitors. So the more that these great stories get out there about our region just brings more visitors and curious about, I have a weekend, I have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, where can I go? You know what, we haven't been to Cincinnati for a while, and I'm seeing a lot of cool things that are going on there. Let's go to Cincy for the region. for the weekend, and it's really paying off. The other side of it is there is a new trend out there now called the workcation. Who's been on a workcation? Has anybody been on a? Yeah, there you go. I can work from anywhere. I'm going to go somewhere and work. So we are getting workcation traffic as well, coming in and staying for 4 and 5 nights, taking advantage of our zoo, Kings Island, the Ark Encounter, the start of the Bourbon Trail, all of this great stuff. So I like that trend. I hope that trend continues, but we'll see. But I think it really is our culture that's interesting to people.
So, Julie, you touched on the Bengals. I'm going to ask Bob and Jane to talk a little bit about any impact on, our Bengals, but I'll also ask you to expand a little bit into the Reds as well. Even though the Reds are not projected to perform well, Bob. Generous, exactly. I suspect, Bob, can you talk about how packed our stadium is with visitors, and that must be good for you and good for downtown. But talk about the Bengals as well. What kind of impact that had.
When we look at business opportunities, the Reds carry a far heavier opportunity than the Bengals. Bengals are only here for a certain number of home games, and the Reds are triple, quadruple that number. And so for multiple day stands as well, too. So a lot more opportunity with the Reds. I just wish they were on the way to the World Series. We'd see a boost there. We've seen a definite trend regarding the Reds that if the Reds are winning, people will come visit. And more people from out of town. We have huge feeder markets in West Virginia, down south. That draw for the Reds, that love the Reds. Yeah, so Chicago's, one of our busiest weekends all the time. You'll find the stadium full of Chicago fans. And also generates some of the highest rates that the hotel business has for those Cubs weekends. So terrific business. And so that's, I guess, one of the bright sides. Teams can guarantee a victory almost when they can come visit us to watch the Reds so they can see their team win, right? So
I like that selling proposition. We're going to add that into the advertising.
That's a plus side. You can watch a winner and come visit.
You win when you're in Cincy.
Yeah. So we are hopeful though that there's a lot of diehard Reds fans out there, and it is Major League Baseball, and so it is a different, higher level product. So I think we still will have people come visit, but it's not going to be at the level that we could if they were a winner. From the Bengals' perspective. It actually was really exciting and fun to be talking to customers around the country and hear them say, hey, how about those Bengals? Congratulations. And so it felt really good. It was really fun on that run that they had. And I think that's going to bode well for us for this fall. They're in for typically, if you're visiting from out of town for a Bengals game, you're in for one night. It's that Saturday night, and that typically is the busiest night of the week anyway. But I do think with more local people coming to see this stadium, that will be beneficial. So it'll be helpful for the restaurants, the nightlife, and the entertainment around us. So it's all good.
Jane, any Bengal stories?
I do, absolutely. It's a great time to be a sports fan in Cincinnati, right? So we were thrilled and excited for our traveling fans that when the Bengals had the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, it was electric. It really launched the excitement of travel again for those that had not been anywhere. So our Provident travel team put together a custom escorted group to go to the Super Bowl, and it was so much fun. Pre and post opportunities. We do a lot of those type packages for the sports fans, whether it's UC. We had the bowl game that we put together, a private charter. It was sold out by 9:30 the next morning. So Provident Travel has a long history of sports fan-based travel with the Rosie Reds. We've taken a group to London for the Bengals trip. What year was that? I forget. But it's very exciting. It really motivated those, again, that had not traveled to really understand that fun in life goes on. So we are thrilled to do that for our sports fans here in Cincinnati. And when they play well, they actually travel with the team as well. So it's all good.
So it is great news. Talk about the impact the situation in Ukraine is having on international travel, or how you are navigating your clients through that.
Yeah. So far, we have not had a huge impact from the unrest in the Ukraine. Where there was absolutely impact, and that was for the cruise itineraries that were stopping in Russia. And actually, our partners make a lot of changes to itineraries. Some people elect to do those, whether it's Scandinavia and they continue to want to travel. But we've actually had people rebook for that same Russia itinerary for 2023. So very little impact for those that really understand that these kinds of things will continue to happen. But there has not been any impact to international travel because of the unrest.
Okay. Thinking more about domestic travel, so AAA just this week released a survey of almost 9,000 adults in about a 20-state region, talking about what are your travel plans this summer. 60% of those folks who were surveyed said they are planning at least one major 50-mile or more trip in domestic U.S. This summer. 35% of those folks said they were planning way more travel this year than they were last year. And then when you throw in a question about gas prices, it actually, 40% of those folks said, you know what, gas prices are not that much of a drag on my plans for summer travel this season. Your impressions of that survey and the results and the impact on folks here in Greater Cincinnati. Julie?
So, we also get tracking from AAA. We get tracking from a company called Destination Analysts, as well as Longwoods. These are the experts out there surveying Americans and their perception. I think when the first news about rising gas prices came out, we all, did a little, oh no, not again. But all of the survey resulting has said that is an elastic concern, that Americans' desire to travel and see and experience is going to have them figure out how to work that increase into their budget. If it's an extra $100 that they have to put into the trip, they're going to figure out how to do it because they want to travel. I just got back on Sunday night from the Grand Canyon in Arches National Park, and it was packed with people that were out on the roads. Our roads are packed, our hotels are packed on the weekends, so I'm not as concerned about gas prices. I'm not nearly as concerned. We're not even talking about COVID anymore as a concern and as a headwind. I would say that probably my greatest concern from an industry standpoint is labor. Labor is a continuing constraint for the industry to be able to grow and fully recover. The overall unemployment rate in the United States of America right now is about 3.5%. That's down from 15% at the worst of the pandemic. The tourism industry is still suffering 10% unemployment. We don't have full labor participation, and we're finding that the biggest trend is that 16 to 22-year-olds are not fully participating in the workforce. And that is what our hotels and our bars and our restaurants, Kings Island, the Ark, the Reds, they all need this employment to come back and come back more fully.
We're running out of time, so who has a question? Raise your hand and I'll come to you. Excellent. Keep those questions coming. One last question for Bob. On this business travel that is expected to not come back to pre-pandemic levels for a while, put on your crystal ball in front of you, Bob. When is business travel going to come back to the levels that we all experienced, or will it ever? I know one statistic that surprised me in the American lodging and hospitality industry out just this week that said the projection is for business travelers to do 1.6 business trips per month going forward, and that's versus 1.7 business trips per month pre-pandemic. I don't believe that statistic. Bob, do you?
No, I wish it was that way, because that's not too far off. I mean, right now, we're seeing that, business travel really relies on people coming back to the office. If you're not in the office, you're not having people come in to visit you in the office. If you're not going out and visiting another office, that's where all the travel comes from. So right now we're finding that people are slowly coming back to the office. I think it sounds like it's going to be a hybrid model moving forward. So no one really at this point is going to come back and work 5 days back into the office. So right now we're finding a lot of our customers are back in the office for 1 to 2 days. On the high end, maybe 3 days. But that's a minority. Still, most of our customers are not back in the office at all. And so our biggest customer right now is at about 40% of where they were in 2019 levels. But most of our customers are at 10 to 15% of where they were. So it's still a long way to go for us, and that's something that we really need to have come back together. For us, that makes up about 35% of our business. So if that's not there, you're already in the hole to begin with. In addition, the other services that we offer here at the hotel are going to have a hard time recovering. So we have lunch service that we want to bring back. But if there's nobody downtown, you're not going to have that thrive, and that also affects the restaurants in the whole area here as well too. It's hard for them to operate when the vibrant folks aren't back here going out and having lunch and being part of the downtown community. So we're hopeful that it will come back, but it's going to be stuck a long way to go.
Julie, you mentioned Garth Brooks on May 14th, but you didn't mention the opening band, which is Ghost Hounds.
Ghost Town.
Fresh off their tour with the Rolling Stones.
That's right.
And my son's band.
No way! Shut the door. Ghost Town. Who knew that?
We recently had a speaker from the financial industry, and toward the end of his talk, he said that his biggest concern was the Cincinnati airport. Not as easy to get in and out of Cincinnati as it used to be. And how does that impact, for me, my first thought is businesses moving to Cincinnati to be able to get their people in and out, but also have Cincinnatians who want to travel and go in and out. How's that affect you?
So are you talking about airlift into the region? So I think we all remember the heyday of Delta Hub times and how great it was. And we also remember the times where we lived through being the most expensive airport in the country. And what a hindrance that was to us for bringing in new business because we were so expensive. CVG is still in recovery mode. And there are a lot of direct flights that have not come back yet. They will come back, and they will come back better than ever. We work with Candace McGraw and her team out at CVG on new air development every day. We have our Air Canada Toronto flight coming back in May. We have our Charles de Gaulle flight coming back in August. We have a lot of domestic routes coming back. The airlines are also a little gun shy in bringing things back because it all comes back to business travel, right? It's the business travel that fills that front of the plane and the comfort seats up that give them the breakage that allow them to sustain the routes. So, I think as you see more companies getting back out on the road and filling those planes up, you're going to see more and more routes coming back to CVG. I will say CVG is one of the few airports out there that actually had service start during COVID. They had Sun Country and Alaska Airlines start during COVID. That Alaska Airline flights to Seattle has been so successful that they added another flight. So, it is getting better at the airport. We are working very hard with them on additional international development as well. We want more dots on the map. That gives us an opportunity to bring more visitors in. Has anybody been out to CVG recently and seen the new rental car facility? I think that's a fabulous addition. It is a great consumer welcome point to not have to get on a bus. I was in Phoenix like 2 weeks ago. What a train wreck renting a car in Phoenix is. It was an hour in a line in the shuttle bus It was an hour in line to rent the car, and then it was an hour in line to actually get the car. So I really like what CVG has done with their consolidated rental facility. We think from a talent perspective and attracting talent to this region, our quality of life, our ability to have a rich life here, and the ease of access at CVG Airport is what makes this region most attractive.
Thank you, Julie. We have another question from up here, but I think we have time for maybe one more question. So if you want to raise your hand, I'll come to you.
No, I do not have any bourbon in my purse.
Well, that was my question. No, I'm just kidding. As a small business owner and leaders of organizations, what can we individually do to spur more traffic into the Cincinnati market?
I think as a small business owner, obviously coming back, if you have people back into the office, bringing back people in the office, that certainly helps. That's for us the biggest thing that we need right now is people engaging downtown. The urban cores are the hardest hit from a hotel perspective. Resorts actually did okay during COVID, and in fact, they really thrived during the second stage of COVID. And the suburban hotels also were much faster to recover. Their level of rooms that they have at those hotels is in the probably about 85 to 135 rooms. So it's much easier to recover on that side. But your urban core downtown hotels, you're talking hotels that are 300 to 600 rooms, they rely on convention business, they rely on business travel, and they really keep the downtown vibrant. And that's what brings people to want to move to Cincinnati, to visit Cincinnati, to live in Cincinnati. So we have to make sure that we're supporting those businesses that are here in our urban core, that are downtown. Come back, visit downtown, go out to dinner, go to the bars, go to the restaurants. That all keeps us a vibrant community. Go to the Reds. What else are you going to do, right?
Go to Blink in October. That's the big one. Blink is coming back. I think everybody knows that. That light culture arts event brings in new eyes to this region. So go to Blink as well.
Let's give our panel another round of applause, and Doug Bolton for being a fabulous moderator as always. I'd also quickly like the other members of the corporate member roundtable to please stand up, and let's acknowledge them and thank them for their work in putting this panel together. You should also feel sorry for them because they're not eligible for the tickets. Neither am I. Okay, now let's pick the winning raffle ticket. Melinda, would you like to do the honors? Okay, here we go. All right. The winner of 2 round-trip airline tickets on Delta Airlines is the ticket holder 2483. 2483 are those are the last 4 numbers. 2483, we have a winner. Camille Scherzinger, come on up and get your certificate. Congratulations.
That is wonderful. Congratulations, Camille. And so our meeting is coming to a close. Because of time, we want to be very respectful of your time. We would like to thank you for being here today. Thanks again for the panel and the wonderful corporate roundtable committee. And we have one meeting this afternoon after this meeting, and that is the young professionals. They will be meeting on the 3rd floor in the mezzanine level, boardroom 3. And I think that's all we have for the good of the cause today. Thank you so much. Would we please have the RILA, people from the RILA committee and the 2 students to stay after for a picture, and all of the bowlers and representatives from Dayton for a picture as well. So thank you so much for attending. We look forward to see you next week. Please make it a great week.